Thanks a lot that you want to do an interview with TupacForum.com. You produce so many great songs. It's really an honor for me to talk to you.
Thank you, man. It's good to hear you say that.
When did you start producing music?
I started producing music. I'll tell you what happened. I was when I was young. I was I was always been a musician.
Mm-hmm.
I played bass guitar, and so I used to play in a band. And back when I was in high school. So after high school, I went to Japan to play, overseas to make money, playing in a band. And it was really boring over there, so I bought me some recording equipment. Started just to mess around, just playing around, just have something to do. So when I came back, I decided, I was going to build a recording studio, and I just did that. Started working. That was like 1990. Started really getting serious about it. About producing. So I say 1990, 91, something like that.
Yeah, that's really a long time ago.
Yeah, well, I mean, think about it. Gangsta's Paradise came out in 1994.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, but then I played music for many years before that. I played in bands from time when I was a kid, like 15 years old. I was playing in bands, and we played all over the place. We opened shows for major acts like Roger and Zapp, and we had a good band. So we were playing. I was playing music, but see, that's before hip hop really got popular. So everybody, you was in the band or you wasn't doing music. On the West Coast, I was in California, and so that's what I was doing. And then when hip hop started coming in, that's when I got more interested in production. So I kind of switched over.
What is the very first commercial song that you produced?
Well, first, I'll tell you the truth. It's kind of hard to say because I got two different ones. My very first record I did that was released and on the commercial market. Didn't really do that well, but we sold maybe 30,000 records, and that was it was a record called an artist named Johnny Z, who's kind of somewhat of a classic. He's a Hispanic artist, a Spanish guy, a Mexican kid. He's a rapper. He's well known in certain circles. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Certain circles. There's certain people that they're going to know him real well. But I don't know. I wouldn't say he crossed over into mainstream. But as far as mainstream, my first record was Why Envy, a song called Chocolate Tie.
Oh, yeah, classic.
Yeah, that was my first record that I did that really got released in the mainstream. And you could turn on the radio and you could hear it on the radio, And that was my first one.
You already mentioned YNV. How did you meet YNV, and how did you start producing for them?
Oh, that's a story too, man. It was really most of the stuff I did in my early career was through a manager. His name is Paul Stewart, and Paul he managed YNV, and he also managed Coolio. He managed Montel Jordan. All those groups that I worked on they all work with the same guy. And what happened was I moved to Los Angeles. I grew up in San Diego, so I moved to Los Angeles to get in, to try to get in music business. And I got a job at the movie studio. And where I started working was right there close to where John Singleton has his movie company there. And the guy Paul Stewart, who was the music manager, he worked with John Stewart, and so I saw Paul Stewart there, and I made a deal with him. I told him I'll let you park over here because I worked the parking lot as a security guard. I said I'll let you park here, close to your building if you listen to my music. And so he said okay. He listened to it and he liked it, and from there, I started working with his groups, and YMB was one of them. Another group called Human Dog, which was we did a song called "Funkin' Up the Backseat," which is an underground classic, which is actually the same beat that I ended up using on "Only God Can Judge Me" when I got to work with Tupac. That's the same music, So you can find that too. It's on YouTube. That's the classic. That was the song that I did. The first song I did with one of Paul Stewart's group, and he liked that. that song. I said, he said, I'm going to introduce you to, this group I'm thinking about working with. And so I brought him to my studio and we did that song. Everybody loved it.
Okay.
So he started letting me work with some of his other groups. Yeah, the song that I just threw that in there because I thought it was pretty interesting. I got a lot of feedback from France and the UK about that song. People saying that it was underground classic, and they knew about it, and it was never released,
The beat from funking up the backseat was also used for the Tupac song Only God Can Judge Me. How did the song Only God Can Judge Me come together?
Well, my brother knew some people, who were working with Tupac, and so my brother made the introduction to a friend of his, and the girl said, he's out of jail. He had just got out of jail. It was only maybe 2 weeks earlier he got out of prison, for the rape charge that he was doing. And so she said, she can give music to him and put it, give him a tape. So I made him a tape. It was a cassette. At that time, nobody really hardly using cassettes anymore, even then. But I put the songs on a cassette, and I gave it to my brother. And my brother gave it to, the girl, and the girl gave it to Tupac. And the next day, my phone rang. I was in my apartment, in my studio, working. Yeah. And my phone rang. I said, hello. He said, yo, this is Tupac. I couldn't believe it. I thought somebody playing games, Yeah, I said, man, what? No, it ain't no Tupac. Yo, this Pac, man. I like 2 of the songs on the tape. I said, oh, shit, this is you. And he told me the tracks he liked. He said, we going to the studio right now, that's how he was. Once I got to know him, he worked every day, all the time. It's not wait till tomorrow. It's nothing. He didn't believe in that. Like, oh, we're going to do it later. No, we're going to do it now, right now.
Wow.
So, but the problem was I had a session that day. That's why I was getting ready for a session in a professional, like with a major label. So I couldn't cancel that, because I already booked the studio. We had to go mix that record. So, I said, man, I can't come in right now. I got a session already booked at this major studio. It's going to be like $2,000. If I don't go, I'm going to lose that money, He said, okay, well, don't worry about it. We come tomorrow. So I come over the next day, and we record both songs in one day. Everything that, and that whole album, All Eyes on Me, when I came to the studio, we didn't start working for maybe 2 hours because they were playing music that they already finished. There are a lot of people in the studio all the time. Girls, all pretty beautiful girls all around, and just a bunch of guys there smoking weed and, just the whole scene, and they were playing the album. And at that time, the album ended up with 27 songs on it. At that time, he had been out of prison 2 weeks. 22 songs were done. My songs was number 23 and number 24. After that, he did 3 more songs, and the album was done. Less than 3 weeks after he got out of prison.
Wow.
So it was crazy. I mean, we came in there, the album was finished, and I'm listening to it, and I'm thinking, man, this album is so dope, man. I hope my song's going to make it. And it turns out, they made it, and they turned out to be some pretty popular songs, not singles, but underground classics, I think.